Electricast.
Hello and welcome to Abracadabra, Create What You Speak. I'm iLan Azoulai, your host, a spiritual mentor and a sound therapist. This is an empowerment program with guests from all over the world who will share their light and their gifts of art, knowledge and wisdom to inspire you to be the best version of yourself. Together, through the healing magic of sound and the power of words, we will look at everything from a spiritual lens. Bonjour, hello, welcome to Abracadabra, Evra et Adaber, I create as I speak. Welcome. So, we are today with different parts of the world, different parts of ourselves, different versions of ourselves, different masks of ourselves. What masks are we wearing? And for what occasion? And what changes are happening? And there are a lot of changes. There are changes here. I'm going to turn you a little bit so you can see the changes that are happening here. So, and there are a lot of reactions to a lot of changes. So, how do we react to each change? How do we react to each occurrence that happens in our lives? Are we cooped up? Are we going into closure? Are we going into scarcity? Are we going into contraction? How do we react? How do we react or respond? Are we just taking everything as it comes and everything is cool? Everything is cool. Everything is fine. Because, one thing is that I always say to those who work with me, and I have the pleasure of working with them, is that everything physical, everything that happens in this realm has a spiritual reason and cause. Everything. Everything has a spiritual reason and cause. Because if we look at it like this, we know that we have a purpose. We know that everything is happening for the good of our journey. We know that everything is supporting us in our journey. And also if we feel that we are repeating something, also if we feel that we are repeating a pattern, we are repeating something because obviously we have to yet achieve another step. It's like, think about a computer game. We go on a computer game and we go directly to the next level, to the door. We're not stopping on the way. I like to put, when I play I recently heard, not Grand Theft Auto, but Grand Theft Camel, right? Finding all the nooks along the way, collecting all the keys, collecting all the gems along the way. But if I go right away to the door of the second level, it'll tell me, you can't go to the second level. You have to go back and collect the key so you can go to the second level. And so many times, and this is what I want to speak about today, is the perception. How do we perceive something that is happening? And do we see it as is happening to us or for us? Right? How do we perceive that? How do we continue from that space forward? And once we perceive something, we start believing it. This is probably how it's supposed to be, right? Well, today I am going to paint a different picture. Are we? I don't know. I'm going to paint a different picture that was until now. So there are changes. Perception leads to belief. How do we relate in this case, in my case, in other things that are happening? Some people, some friends I see are going through some physical ailments, some physical difficulty, medical difficulties that creates that creates a financial burden, a financial concern. Changes, shifts, you know, shifts are creating changes in our perception. So how do we look, for example, I put in the title, changes, perception, and our relationship to dollar sign, to money, right? This is very interesting because it is never about the money itself. It's just like it's never about, it's never about, let's say, the sound ball itself. It is what the sound ball generates. It is what is my relationship to the healing properties. So before we talk about sound, what is my relationship with money? What is my relationship with something that has the power to create change? Is money the only power, is the only thing that can create change? So what happens is that when we are in a bind, and this happens to me this week personally, and I have to bring it up because I realize that if I want to speak about something, I need to speak about something that is happening as it is happening with me, as it is happening live. And so I'm going through changes. I moved to a different place. Let me see if I can bring you up here. This is the light. Let's get this light off the way. If you can see that. So I'm in a Redondo. And so there are changes that are happening. And what happened is that I found myself earlier this week in a little bit of a mode of a scarcity. Ooh la la! Oh my God! What is happening here? I combined German here. What is happening here? No, what is happening here? Right? And what happened is that I was blessed with a certain client, with a certain project. And because of the situation of where I am, I start automatically going into scarcity, getting into a fear. Oh, maybe I can get more. Maybe I can do something else. Maybe I can do more. And that created a feeling within myself that was not authentic. And how did I know it was not authentic? I wasn't confident in what I was saying. I wasn't confident in myself. I wasn't confident in my offering. I wasn't confident in the ways that my journey is flowing. I wasn't confident in the fact that everything is happening for the good of my journey. And how to allow that to happen, it's about releasing and surrendering. Surrendering to the process, surrendering to what is happening. Surrendering to there are changes and everything is being taken care of. All I have to do is do my best at that particular, at whatever I do, to offer the best, right? There is, I have here the book over there, the 4 agreements of Ruse. And one of the agreements that we have with ourselves, and when we do this agreement, is whatever I do the best I can. Apply myself 100% to wherever situation I'm experiencing. Whatever situation I'm experiencing, applying myself. Now, it doesn't mean that we are not here to prepare. We do have to prepare because, God put us here in a potential. It's just like the potentiality of beer exists in barley, for example, or the bread starts with the flour, but I have to take the flour, I have to take the water, I have to take I have to mix everything, I have to create. And so God put us here, us in the beginning, with all the potential within us, with all the spark plugs, if you will. And it is our job for our journey, to do the best that we can, just like in one of the agreements that is talking about, and of course talking about in the Torah and in life, to do the best that we can. And when we do the best that we can, we give the universe, we give God, right, the opportunity to bless us. We are creating a vehicle of manifestation. So now, when I talk about sound, and I talk about the healing power of sound, and when I do sound therapy and voice analysis, talking about unleashing and opening the potential, sparking that plug, so you can start and create that which you want to create. Right? But we have to do something. We have to apply ourselves in a certain way. So this week, when I have experienced, um, um, I'm reading these notes. I don't know. Somebody hacked into this thing and put all kinds of things. Anyway, okay. Find your love in your city. Okay, let's go with that. Find your love. Hi, Tamara. Thank you. Find your love in your city. Find your love in where you are. All right. So find your love in what we do. Finding the love in what we do. So this week, when I've experienced that moment of scarcity, I realized that it is not obviously a few moments later, obviously, because once I experienced it, I was in the moment. We were in this experience, and this ties up into the trigger time, true time, and I will bring it back to talk about this, how this fits. But a few moments later, I realized that it was my relationship to the situation. It is never about the item itself. It is never about the money as a money, because the money, first of all, by default, is just a representation of something that was created by society and by banks and all this kind of stuff. So it is really the relationship with the money, the relationship with what can be achieved through the money, through money. It is my relationship. So what is the relationship to success? What is the relationship to failure? What is whatever I define failure or success, right? What is the relationship to achieving, period? What is the relationship to opening up? What is the relationship to creating? Right. So I realized that. And I grabbed myself and I was like, wow, I put myself really in a bind. I really put myself in a bind. I brought myself into that bind. Why? Because I moved to a place I wanted to move. I am in a situation where I wanted to be. There are difficulties and there are changes and there is pain. But how do we continue with that? Because these difficult moments, these difficult times and moments in each of our lives are those defining moments of how are we taking this potential that we have within ourselves and we are elevating, we're creating. So this, I didn't do this Friday video, but I wanted to talk about it today. This portion that we are in this week's portion Vayishlach. Portion Vayishlach, I feel purple. Let me put the purple on. Oh no, purple. How is that? There you go. Let's see, Yogi Bear. There we go. This portion Vayishlach, right? There is the story there of Jacob that ran away actually from his brother Esau after buying his firstborn right from his brother, from Esau, for a bowl of lentils. Because Esau, in the last portion, Esau was hungry. He came in. He saw that Jacob is cooking something. He said, hey, give me from this red thing. He didn't say lentil. Give me from this red thing. And Jacob told him, well, sell me your right, your firstborn right. And Esau said, I don't need that. You can take it. No, you can take it. So he sold it to him. But Esau then changed his mind. He didn't like that. So he tried to deceitfully get the firstborn right back from Jacob. So his mother, Rebecca, told Jacob, run away. Esau wants to kill you. So Jacob left and went to Haran. Now is the time where Esau is coming to him, and Jacob is preparing. And this is the thing about what I talked earlier about preparing, taking what is happening and preparing. How do we prepare for a situation? So he prepared with three things: Doron, Tfilah, and Milchama. Doron is a gift, prayer, Tfilah, and Milchama, war, right? So the first thing is a gift. It's like, wait, what? You want to give a gift to the guy that is, to your brother that is trying to kill you, that is running after you and trying to kill you. And this is a great lesson for our day-to-day life and how we approach certain situations, certain difficult situations, maybe conflicts with coworker, conflicts in a relationship. How do we approach that? So he says, Jacob sends his assistants, and he tells them, tell my master, tell him, I call him master, your humble servant has a gift for you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. And you ask yourself, what? This guy wants to kill you. This guy wants to kill you. He's coming to kill you. He's coming to chew you up. What are you going to send to him, a gift? Say, yeah. Send him a gift. Tell him I'm looking forward to seeing him, and prepare some gifts for him. And this is going to the when we want to, this ties into when we want to confront somebody. When we want to confront somebody, there are two ways we could do that. We either go, hey, I want to tell you, you did this, and this, right? Most likely the other side will be on the defensive. Whoa, you're attacking me right away. What is going on? Hello. Or we can do what I call the sandwich. You start with a compliment. How are you? It's great. You have a great talent. You have a great, speaking truth, finding the true things, not bullshitting it, because we're human. We can understand. We can trace. We can understand if somebody is not being honest and authentic. So find those points and compliment the person about their achievement. This is also in a relationship. Compliment the person, compliment your partner about what is going on, how good they are, and how great they are, and what they do. And then in the middle, you bring in what you've noticed, something that you've noticed, something that you would ask or recommend or search maybe in something to change or to shift, and then end with a compliment. So this is what Jacob is doing. He's sending gifts. And what does he do? He's got to also be smart a little bit, right? What does he do? He sends these camels, like a lot of camels, and he tells his assistants, make sure to separate each herd with distance, so it will look a lot. So there is a line of a group of camels and cattle that comes, and then there is a break, and then there is another group of camels, and there's a break, so it looks a lot. Then Jacob also prays. Now, prayer. We're talking about prayer. We're talking about the power of words. The power of words. This is part of the thing that I do with voice analysis, is analyzing a voice and finding the break in the arc of the voice. What traumas affected what through bioacoustics, and finding what frequencies are. So prayer, the power of the words, the power of prayer, the power of the intention behind the words. Now, if that still is not going to be sufficient, Jacob is also preparing for a war. He's also preparing for a fight. And this is how we should really, when we're facing certain situations, we should prepare. Plan A, plan B, maybe plan C. See, how is this going to happen? But always hope to resolve this in the first option, the gifts. So what happens? So Jacob meets Esau, and he says, "This is for you. This is." And what does Esau say? Esau says, "I have all. I have much. I have a lot. What Jacob says is, I have everything. There is a difference. And this is the difference. I have a lot versus I have everything. One person can have so much stuff, stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff and stuff. I love this hat the most. Really, I really do love this hat the most. And I have a lot of stuff. But you can have a guitar to your name and have everything. You can have a joy in your heart and you have everything. Doesn't matter what stuff you have. And this goes back to the first point of what is our relationship to money, which drives what is our relationship to the current situation. Are we going to a scarcity? Are we coming from an abundance? And when we come from abundance and we know that everything is happening for the good of our journey and that we are doing the best that we can, and we are going with this energy that is emitting this positivity, this colorfulness, then we are attracting that as well. Because what happened with me this week is when I went into that scarcity place, that attracted the same trigger from the other person. And then it went into a whole spiral of things. So now where's trigger time? True time comes into play. So the trigger point for me was shifts that are happening. What's going to happen, right? And I had this project, and because of the scarcity mentality that I slipped into, oh, is this is going to end? This is going to end. I got to deal with this in a certain way. I got to come from the survival mode, right? How many of us have been in a survival mode? And when you're in a survival mode, we can't think outside of the box. Can't think outside. Can't see, as I say, we can see further than our nose size, because this is what's in front of me here, and this is what I see, and I don't see anything else. All right. So when we don't see anything else, we don't see the potential. And by the way, this is what's happening in the world. This is what's happening with governments and their employers. They want us to be smart enough just to push the button, not to think further than our nose size, not to think further and not to think critically. Because if we think critically, God forbid, we will rock their ship. And this is what we do need to do, to rock that ship that is sinking and sinking very fast. We need to rock that ship. So when we are in that scarcity mode, we do not see further than our nose size. So it is the relationship. So there are 3 points. There is me. There is the money. Let's put it this way. Let's say this is the situation, and there is my relationship to it. It is how do I relate to this kind of connection. Let's take 2 people. You have 2 people. You have one person, and you have a second person. So there is the connection between them. But between each one of them, each person has a perception about the relationship to this kind of a person. When I say this kind of a person, I'm talking about the person that that creates certain triggers for person A and person B. So person A has a certain kind of a relationship with this person B that creates certain triggers. Now, person B is just person B for who they are. They have nothing to do. They didn't come to this world to trigger person A. They came to this world to live their lives. But when we connect, when we come together, there are triggers. You know how many times a person would say, you heard somebody tell you, oh, you are too judgmental, oh, you're too sensitive, or you're, as if it is a negative thing. It is not a negative thing. But sometimes that person would say that, oh, you're too sensitive, oh, you're too giving, oh, you're too kind, oh, you're too... they see it many times as a negative in relation to them. So it is their relationship to this kind of a connection. The same thing with the money. It is the relationship that I have with either achieving money, spending money, getting money, what money means for me, what success means, What other things mean that have to do with money? It's not the money itself. It's not that piece of paper. It is the representation of it. So in the same thing, it like happened with Jacob and Esau. When Esau says, "I have much, I don't want this. No, 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 no. I don't want this. I have much." Jacob says, "No, it's okay. I have everything. I have everything," is coming from a place of abundance. And when we come from a place of abundance, we have everything. When we come from a place of a scarcity, we don't have enough. We have much, and look at those who have much and are fancying themselves with what they have. It's never enough. In Judaism, it says, once he who had 100s wants 200. He had 200s, won 400. It's never enough, because you look at the subject as the point, as the matter of fact, right? So I got to put my glasses again to read what is. That is true. It is. It is. When I keep focusing on how much I have, I'm always comparing it, how much I still need to get, versus how everything is here already, how I have everything. And so we are nearing all kind of holidays. We're nearing Hanukkah. We're nearing Christmas. I think Kwanzaa is happening. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening. Hanukkah is a festivity of lights, where we are actually in the month of Kislev, month of a miracle. Kislev in Hebrew is separated. It's Kis and Lev. Kis is a pocket. Lev is a heart. We got our pocket in our heart, meaning finances and happiness. Finances and happiness or joy. It's not necessarily that having them both is but this is the month of miracle. I want to go back to that trigger time, true time that I start mentioning. When I this week, when this happened, this incident that got me a lot of thinking, a lot of lesson to bring me back. The first moment when I realized that this project is happening, I got triggered. I got triggered because of the situation that is happening and this project that happened, and I got triggered. When I voiced what I wanted to voice to that person, which was not an authentic place for me, it came from the place of scarcity. As I was saying it, I felt the vibration of the words come out. And the vibration of the words that came out had a knot in my upper belly. This knot of fear, this knot of what is happening. And that moment I realized that I'm not coming from an authentic place. Now, granted, authenticity, as I believe it, is a dynamic situation. Authenticity is a dynamic state. When you say, "Oh, I'm not authentic," you have to be authentic. You're authentic now. Tomorrow you will have a different authenticity. 5 years ago, you said to yourself, 5 years ago, "Oh, I'm going to be authentic. I'm authentic to myself," 5 years ago. But comes today, you realize that 5 years ago, you didn't know what you know today. So the authenticity that you experienced 5 years ago is definitely not the authenticity that you experience today. So the authenticity is dynamic. What is it dynamic to? It is dynamic to the place I see myself. It is dynamic to the relationship that I have with myself and I have with whoever is around me or whatever is around me or whatever I'm dealing with. Finances, person, whatever that is, right? Another one is have a good time. Find your love. Okay, have a good time. I'm having a great time. Find your love. It's probably spam for dating sites or something. But hey, it came right in time. So authenticity is dynamic. Authenticity is dynamic, and based on the relationship that I have and the perception that I have with the change that is happening. So we'll talk about sound a little bit. Every part of us is a frequency. Every organ has a frequency. Even our hair on our skin moves on a certain frequency. Our skin has a frequency. This Tibetan bowl, this is 285 hertz. This Tibetan bowl is designed specifically for physical cuts, for physical ailments, for physical cuts, bruises, because it sends messages to the brain and to the cells to heal themselves, to regenerate. So a treatment of that creates wonders. Our voice is a frequency. Our thoughts are a frequency. Our intentions are frequency. Every part of our body is a frequency. So, what place do you inhabit within yourself when you want to manifest, when you want to create, when you want to express? What place do you inhabit? Are you inhabiting from a scarcity? Are you inhabiting from abundance? Happy Chanukah. If this resonates with you, please check the YouTube channel. And if you would like to experience sound therapy, click on the links here below, send me a message. I want to give a shout out to Lisa Kowski for creating this several years ago. She is a wonderful calligraphy artist. And those are the trees that are singing today. A lot of winds today in Redonda. Have a wonderful week. It was great to see you. Great being here with you. And thank you for being here. Adios. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.
Electricast.